Legendary Pokemon are a staple of the Pokemon franchise. They're supposed to be much less common and much more stronger than that Pidgey you caught on Route 1. You're meant to battle long and hard to weaken them and catch them, unless you have a Master Ball, or a Game Shark, or a Mystery Gift. So, why do some legendaries run with their tail between their legs the second you encounter them? Bulbapedia states that a roaming Pokemon is a wild legendary Pokemon that instead of remaining in one place as a special event, runs around the region it appears in, seemingly at random. I call roaming Pokemon cowards who are too scared to stay and fight me. My first ever Pokemon game was a Gen 2 game, Pokemon Crystal, the same gen where roaming Pokemon were introduced, and I kid you not, I had the King engine the second I started hearing that music for the first time when I was walking in a random patch of grass. 7-year-old me had no idea what to do. At the time I was grinding so I could beat Jasmine's over-leveled Steelix, and out of nowhere I encounter a legendary. Entei, the legendary Pokemon of Fire. I had no idea what I was doing in a random patch of grass, but I knew that I shouldn't screw this up. So the second that I tried to weaken it, it runs away. It just runs away. Because since when could Pokemon run away? I spent hours on hours searching for that one Entei in that one patch of grass, and the amount of times I saw a Tauros and mistook it for Entei was infuriating. And then it happened. The music started playing. But it wasn't Entei. It was Raikou? I mean, looking back, I now know why I was able to find two in that one patch of grass. It was pure coincidence. I left at one point to go to the Pokemon Center and heal up and get potions and Pokeballs from Equity City. And then I went back to Route 38 to find a Raikou in the grass. Like, what? But it does make sense, seeing as they're roaming Pokemon. Chances of that were pretty low, finding them like a few hours apart. Or maybe it wasn't. I'm not so sure. But still, a Raikou and an Entei, and I didn't know roaming Pokemon existed, so I thought Route 38 was some like legendary route that you could just find legendary Pokemon in randomly. So I was thinking I was gonna find like Suicune next, but after that, I looked in the Pokedex and I saw something interesting. Raikou was at the Lake of Rage, and Entei was outside of Newbark. So I flew to Newbark Town and went to the route right next to it, and by the time I got there, Entei was gone. And it was at Route 39. So I flew to Olivine, went to Route 39. Entei was outside of Azalea Town. So I flew to Azalea Town, went to the route right next to it. Entei was at the Lake of Rage, and Raikou was at New Bark Town. You can see where this is going, can't you? I spent hours flying from one town to the other, trying to track down these Pokemon that just wouldn't stay in one place. And when I did find them, sometimes I'd have a Pokemon that's too slow at the front of my party, so I couldn't even weaken them or touch them before they left. And I couldn't just throw a Pokeball at them whilst they were at full health, because they would definitely break out. I had no idea what to do. And it occurred to me, the internet exists. So I switched off my emulator and went on YouTube and looked at a few tutorials, like most people would do. But every single one of them suggested that I do something that I wasn't really keen on doing. Getting a Pokemon with Mean Look. I mean, it's a good strategy. Mean Look stops Pokemon from running away, so I could weaken the Entei or Raikou and then catch them, like a normal encounter, without having them run away all the time. But I didn't have any Pokemon that knew Mean Look. And I wasn't really keen on catching a Ghastly or a Zubat, training them up, just for them to use Mean Look and then never be used again. I just didn't seem too keen on the idea. So I tried something else. Kurt's Fastball. I mean, I know now that that just doesn't work because in Gen 2, none of the Apricorn balls really worked. I mean, what Pokemon evolves with a Burn Heal? It's kind of funny though. I bet there's at least like one random glitched Pokemon in the. No, never mind. No, moving on. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so I tried using the fastball, and obviously that didn't work. And I had a bunch, so I tried again and again, and just wasted meaningless hours of my life trying to hunt down these legendaries in a Pokemon game. And then I just gave up. By the time I got Suicune, I was like, I had a legendary by then, which didn't run away from me. So I just gave up on the roaming legendaries. And if I found them in the wild by accident, I'd throw an Ultra Ball, cross my fingers, and if it broke out, it broke out. And that was it. Until, and by until I mean like 5 years later or something like that, I played Pokemon Platinum for the first time. At this point, I've beaten Cynthia, and I'm close to unlocking the national decks. All I needed to do was catch the Lake Trio, Azolf, Uxie, and Mesprit. I caught Azolf and Uxie, and Mesprit. You can see where this is going, can't you? And at that moment, I decided that I did not care if the legendary was a roaming one. I was going to catch it. It could take days, weeks, or months, but I was going to catch it. And I came up with a plan. And somehow it worked. And it still does. Let me explain it. Roaming Pokemon always free on the first turn. But if you're faster, you can hit it for some damage and give it a status condition before it gets away. And next time you encounter it, it'll still have that damage on it and the status condition. It won't be healed. Meaning that if you chip away at it, encounter after encounter, eventually it'll be low enough that it'll be really likely that you'll be able to catch it in a quick ball because it'll be on the first turn, it'll have a status condition, and be on really low health. All those multipliers added up would almost guarantee that you catch the Pokemon, especially if you use a move like False Swipe as well. One major thing I should point out is that you should stay on one route to do this. Don't try chase after the legendary Pokemon to get the encounters. You have to wait for them to come to you. It's a waiting game, and it can get infuriating at times, but trust me, it's just a waiting game. You need patience to do this, which is not fun. After weeks of repeating this process again and again and again, I ended up catching Mesprit and Cresselia and the Cantonian birds, which happened to be roaming in this generation as well. I don't know why they didn't do it in BDSP, but less roaming legendaries, I guess. And plus, I have enough mold tracers and stuff, so cool. Okay, that's it. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Keep daydreaming. Bye for now.